All right. This is your host, Murph, Big Brother Almighty. Thank you for tuning into Blacklight TV, and I just wanted to holler at you real quick. Lately, I've been noticing a lot of things on my timeline, about being scared of all of these things. I want to run y'all back through something real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, follow me as truth seekers and connoisseurs of common sense break down every single scare we have had since 2000. I want y'all to embark on this real quick with me. This is a parade of panic, each year bringing us more flavor and impending doom than the last. Grab that popcorn and relive this with me. Check this out. I want y'all to think back at 2000, the Y2k Bug.
Quite a few, can cook a good meal out here.
Gary Hopkins and his wife aren't taking any chances when it comes to Y2K.
Well, we have a lot of extra Jell-O, extra canned food.
Their biggest test.
We have, as you said, have tested this many, many times over, but this is the time that we're really in the year 2000.
The clock struck midnight and everything was supposed to go black. Nothing happened. Computers didn't rebel, toasters didn't gain sentience, and we all survived. 2001, Anthrax attacks.
They both arrived on the same day. One contained a white talcum powdery-like substance. The other contained a brownish, granular, almost sandy-like substance.
In just a week's time, we have had 4 confirmed cases of anthrax, all with media connections, and a number of anthrax scares as well. ABC News.
In Nevada.
In New Jersey tonight.
The U.S. House of Representatives is closing offices today until Tuesday to allow a complete sweep for traces of anthrax. And 29 staffers for Senator Tom Daschle's office have tested positive for exposure to anthrax.
The letters sent to NBC and the New York Post were the same. This is next. Take penicillin now. Death to America, death to Israel. Allah is great.
Mysterious white powder that was going to turn us into amateur detectives all overnight, and we were going to find out where this widespread dust came from. It was going to cause chaos because terrorists were sending it. Nothing happened. 2002, West Nile virus.
Now, protecting yourself and your family against the West Nile virus may be more important than ever.
Channel 3's Kara Sundin will explain why.
It first showed up in this country in New York in 1999. It's harbored in migratory birds, and mosquitoes are quickly spreading it across the nation.
You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta learn more about the mosquitoes and what to do.
For long pants and long arms and long sleeves, I put repellent on me.
There are 91 of these mosquito traps set up throughout the state, and testing is done every morning. So far, only bird-biting mosquitoes have the West Nile virus. But experts say this is the time of year where human-biting mosquitoes will start to get it.
Mosquitoes became public enemy number 1, and yet most of us still went on 4th of July weekend and had a ball. 2003, SARS.
This is the Amoy Gardens living complex in Hong Kong, metropole of 8 million people. Here, the illness affected most of the 19,000 inhabitants. In light of the epidemic, nothing in this city of millions is normal anymore. Offices are closed and traffic has reduced by half. The inhabitants rarely leave their houses. Safety masks cover people's faces. Children are especially frightened by this unfamiliar situation.
Serious concern. But when it didn't become a global catastrophe that many feared, we had to find something else. 2004, mad cow disease.
I'm needing to sell soon, but not at these prices.
Now another devastating blow to the beef industry. DNA testing confirms what Canadian farmers feared.
BSE-infected animal detected in Washington State in December was in fact born on an Alberta farm.
Just how and when the cow was infected is still under investigation, whether the contaminated feed was produced in Canada or the U.S. But to an industry that's lost billions already, it could be too late. Ranchers like Alvin Kumlin fear some U.S. politicians and industry groups may try to use Canada's second mad cow case to keep the border shut.
Beef dinners face scrutiny, and we didn't turn to vegetation, though. We still eating burgers, y'all. Oh, no, 2005 was bird flu.
Dr. Michael Greger, author of the book Bird Flu, A Virus of Our Own Hatching, is concerned that bird flu is threatening to trigger another human flu pandemic.
Up to 60 million Americans come down with the flu every year. What if it all of a sudden turned deadly?
Many experts say conditions today are ideal for a new bird flu virus to become deadly, even more deadly than the 1918 outbreak.
Remember that? The chickens had a bad rap. Till now, after mad cow, you had the mad chicken. But humanity kept on clucking, didn't it? In 2006, E-coli in spinach.
A major conference on agro-terrorism starts today in Kansas City. It'll focus on the safety of the food supply in the United States and the potential threat from terrorists. The government's spending millions to try to deal with an attack because from the time it's grown on the farm, then processed and on the table, food is at risk for tampering. And there are 2 new cases of E. coli poisoning being linked to fresh spinach. There are now 173 reported cases in 25 states and 1 death. 2 other deaths are suspected. Officials have also found another bag of spinach contaminated with the toxic E. coli bacteria, this one in Utah.
Salads were suspects. We still found a way to eat that lettuce. We still eat our greens, don't we? Oh no, in 2007 it got our pets. We had pet food recalls.
Well, if you have a pet or dog, chances are you're concerned about what's in their food. And this morning we're talking about pet food recalls. We're joined once again this morning by our vet, Dr. Jennifer Crow from Noah's Animal Hospital. And again, when it comes to recalls, maybe you've seen them in the headlines or learned about them online. The big question is, how do you treat them? And then how do you know for sure the pet food is safe?
Fidos, kibbles, and bits. And that felines, that kitty mix, that kitty kibble was supposed to end all of the pets. And guess what? Cat's still crawling, baby. Oh, no, I'm not done. 2008 was a financial crisis. Remember that?
The housing market collapse created one financial crisis after another, and it often seemed as if the news could only get worse.
So I think this is the most significant financial crisis in the post-war period.
There are fears the sell-off will continue on Wall Street.
Soaring gas prices, falling home prices, and rising unemployment.
What kind of recipe is that? Overall, that's a recipe for a recession.
The economy was going to crash forever, and that was the end of America. That was the end of the world. Guess what? Yeah, you can guess it. 2009 was the swine flu.
28 students here are confirmed with swine flu. Another 17 cases are likely.
Oh my God. I didn't know.
At the National Swine Flu Command Center at the Centers for Disease Control, officials say there is no evidence the virus is spreading outside infected communities, such as St. Francis Prep, but say that could change.
I expect that we will see cases in other parts of the country, and I would fully expect that we'll see a broader range in terms of the severity of infection.
Pork sales dropped and civilization kept on moving. 2010, BP oil spill.
On Louisiana's coast, more dirty oil washed ashore today. The greatest oil spill in American history now covers 29,000 square miles, the size of South Carolina. And there's more to this disaster you can't see. Scientists have discovered another massive underwater oil plume, 22 miles from the broken wellhead, moving northeast toward Mobile Bay. And 7 workers cleaning up the spill had to be hospitalized. Headaches and nausea. Doctors blamed chemical irritation and the heat.
Environmental disaster, yes. But the end of marine life, no. 2011, Fukushima nuclear disaster.
All day long, focus of growing fear. The 40-year-old nuclear plant damaged by the earthquake, its power knocked out. A crucial cooling system disabled with pressure building inside the reactor. Japan declared a state of emergency at the plant, its first ever, and Chris Cuomo is here with that. Chris.
We're getting updates right now, Diana, as we're broadcasting. The situation's still far from under control. We're hearing radiation levels inside the plant reached as high as 1,000 times the normal level. So what started as a natural disaster has the potential to become an even more threatening man-made disaster.
Radiation fears. We did not start glowing in the dark. 2012, the Mayan Calendar. That was one of my favorites.
Well, the Maya believe in cycles. And the current calendar is actually one of several cycles that last for thousands of years. The current calendar probably began in somewhere around 3114 before the current era. And these cycles have gone on, and the idea of the cycles have been passed down through some of the mythology of the Maya. And this current one simply ends on December 21st or 23rd, depending on who's doing the translation of this year. There is no other Maya calendar, is because the Spanish arrived and the Maya civilization was essentially destroyed. They would have done essentially the same thing that we do and just create a new calendar after this cycle ended.
The world kept on spinning. Much of us thought the Mayans were right. We supposed to get superpowers and shit. Nothing happened, y'all. 2013, North Korea threats Kim Jong-un. He had a sober, rattling threat for us, didn't he? It was supposed to lead to World War III.
More angry propaganda and a menacing video from North Korea, which claims to have moved into, quote, combat posture to strike at the United States. ABC senior global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz is on her way to South Korea and reports tonight from Kabul.
In the newest propaganda video, the North Koreans threatening a massive rocket and artillery attack on South Korea, with thousands of follow-on troops invading the country. It comes as North Korea has ordered all its strategic rockets and long-range artillery units put on the highest alert, ready to hit American military targets, they say, in South Korea, where the U.S. has more than 28,000 troops, in Guam, where there are more than 6,000, and even in Hawaii, where nearly 115,000 American forces are based.
Nothing. 2014, Ebola Outbreak.
This is the deadliest outbreak of Ebola on record. The latest figures from the World Health Organization show more than 1,200 people have been infected in Guinea, Sierra Leone and Liberia, and around 670 of them have died. More than 300 of those deaths were in Guinea, more than 200 in Sierra Leone, and more than 100 in Liberia. And now the first death on Nigerian soil. A Liberian man died after flying from Monrovia to Lagos. That case highlighting how difficult it is to prevent infected people from travelling. In Nigeria, all points of entry, air, sea and land, have been placed on red alert, trying to halt the further spread of one of the world's most virulent diseases, which has no vaccine and no cure.
Ooh, it's over, y'all. What happened? Global pandemic? I think not. 2015, ISIS.
ISIS released a new video today claiming to show the mass execution of Ethiopian Christians in Libya.
The latest ISIS video delivered a clear and direct threat to Christians in the Middle East.
You will not have safety, even in your dreams, until you embrace Islam.
Yeah, the terrorist threats, they loom behind us every day. Guess what? Life persisted to keep on moving. But then in 2016, oh yeah, the Zika virus.
First spread to Brazil's northern state of Bahia in early 2015, it was considered a mild infection, as most Zika virus infections are asymptomatic. However, it was soon linked to a sharp increase in the number of babies born with microcephaly, which can lead to abnormally small heads in developing babies.
Brazil launched a mega campaign against the Zika virus. As such, 2015 and 2016 saw a big decline in the numbers of pregnancies.
Mosquitoes starred in the show again. Humanity kept on swatting and kept on moving. Yeah. And then in 2017, North Korea popped back up with the missile threat.
Shortly after the new year, the world was taken by surprise when North Korea announced it was in the final stages of preparations to test launch an intercontinental ballistic rocket. Though the true effectiveness of the system was still unclear, the geopolitical implications are obvious. If it enabled a warhead's range of 12,000 kilometers, most of the continental U.S. would be in range.
Yeah, more threats. Outcome, no apocalypse. 2018, the Migrant Caravan. The humanitarian issue.
A massive migrant caravan headed for the United States is on the move again, defying a threat by U.S. President Donald Trump to close the border. Thousands of men, women, and children, most of them fleeing poverty and violence in Honduras, poured into Mexico on Sunday. The country had earlier deployed riot police, some armed with tear gas, to head off any illegal crossings at the border with Guatemala.
And then Obama actually deported more people in history. No tripping, no apocalypse, no nothing. Kept it moving. No invasion. 2019, climate change.
This is not just a forest burning. This is almost a cemetery because all you can see is dead.
The biggest problem now facing the world is climate change. Greenland has impacts all around the planet. 1 billion tons of ice lost here raises sea levels all over the world.
The point of no return. Yeah, urgency. Still here, working on solutions. 2020, COVID-19.
Tonight, U.S. cases of coronavirus more than doubling, with 2 new cases in Southern California and 1 in Maricopa County, Arizona. The CDC confirming all 5 patients in the U.S. had traveled to Wuhan, including a man in his 50s being treated in Orange County.
The airport screenings are working effectively, but remember, they're not perfect.
Across the country, more than 100 patients in 26 states are being monitored for possible coronavirus. China now says the virus spread is accelerating and is more infectious than previously thought, that it could be spread during the incubation period.
Uh-oh, this is it, y'all. Global crisis. We adapted, learned, continue to preserve. 2021, Murder Hornets.
For the first time this year, a murder hornet has been found in the U.S. north of Seattle. Murder hornets are native to Asia. Their sting can be life-threatening to humans, and they can wipe out colonies of honeybees. Experts believe the dead male hornet was from a previous season and only discovered just recently.
Killer insects. More like a buzzkill of sensational news. Oh, 2022 was Monkey Pox. Remember that? Another virus.
17 years, another virus has been found in the country. The CDC confirming more than 200 people in more than 24 states are being monitored for Monkey Pox.
Yeah, according to the agency, here are the symptoms. Within a few days after having a fever, people with the illness will develop a rash. News4JAX consumer investigator Lauren Verno is joining us now. Lauren, is the medical community saying we should be concerned right now?
If you were to get monkeypox, it's going to present symptom-wise as sort of a flu-like illness and then very quickly progresses to full body rash.
UF Health Jacksonville Director of Infectious Disease and Prevention, Chad Nielsen, says monkeypox can be deadly.
But not quite the sequel to COVID that the media made you want to think it was. Then in 2023, AI was supposed to take over and turn us into slaves.
Colonel Tucker Hamilton, who was an experimental fighter test pilot, described an exercise in which an AI-controlled drone from the Air Force had been programmed to destroy an enemy air defense. And then when it was ordered through its mission to ignore one of the targets, of the multiple targets they had assigned, the drone, instead of just following orders, attacked its operator, including targeting the control tower that sent it messages, as well as the location of the human operator. So actually trying to kill the human operating it and the ability to communicate with it.
Robots did not enslave us. They just vacuum our fucking floors, fold our towels, and cut off our temperatures and, stuff like that. Nothing. Pick our fruit. 2024 was 5G radiation.
5G technology is becoming more prominent, not only in Pennsylvania, but across the country. More cell phone companies are putting up 5G towers, impacting millions of customers, but some are raising the question, are these towers safe?
About for the past 3 years, some of them are worrying that the 5G towers that make our phones so fast could actually be hurting our health.
Faster internet, but it did not give us cancer and fry our brain cells. Now in 2025, we got Project 2025.
Trump tried to distance himself from something called Project 2025. That was talked about a lot during the campaign. At some points, he said he doesn't really know what it is. He doesn't know the people who are doing it. But now he's tapped an architect for a key role. What can you tell us about that?
He's not the only member of Trump's administration who has ties to this project. When you talk about Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, Brendan Carr, his pick for FCC chair, Stephen Miller, all of these folks have ties to this proposal that, as you mentioned, he really did try to create some distance between himself on the campaign trail from that proposal. So what we are seeing now is that Trump heading into office actually bringing in some people who have some pretty significant ties to this thing that he once called extreme.
We're going to gonna be in the cotton fields. We got that Trump is gonna have us, he takes away our black history, blah, 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 blah. Year after year, we have been served with a buffet of fears, each dish spicier than the last one. Yet, here we are, y'all, every single time. It's essential to stay informed and prepared. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna allow fear to be the soundtrack of my life. After all, think about it, y'all. Story has shown for the last 25 years minimum. I didn't even go past 2000. The monsters under your bed are shadows. Let's face the future with courage, critical thinking, and maybe just a good laugh or two for the ghosts that never were. For too long, this media, you can even suggest liberal media if you want to, has had us out here panicking like our lives were a never-ending horror movie. Except it's the kind of horror movie that has nothing scary ever happen. A bunch of loud music, jump scares, and one dude saying, don't go in there, y'all. You're gonna die. I mean, we've been scared since Y2k. Telling us the world was gonna explode because the damn computer couldn't count past 1999. I'm serious. They had us thinking our microwaves were gonna develop a mind of their own and start heating our cold fries at 3 p.m. and start telling the radio to attack us. Spoiler alert, nothing happened. Then it was Anthrax, West Nile, mad cow, bird flu. Come on, man. We couldn't eat or breathe for like 5 or 6 years in a row without thinking we were gonna die. I remember people in 2005 were looking at chickens like they were plotting something. My uncle stopped eating chicken wings for 6 months, I think, bro. Come on, man. Every year, they come up with a new end of the world trailer like clockwork. They don't even switch up the formula. It's breaking news alert, dramatic music, and then they cut to the scientists with the clipboard saying, listen, if we don't fix this in 30 days, everything is over. I've been hearing this shit for the last 25 years. You know what? What's wild is that people older than me still believe this shit. They never circle back and say, hey, y'all, it turns out this was bullshit. Nothing was gonna happen. They just ghost us and move on to the next big scare. They are like that one friend who call you up gossiping about something they heard, and then when you find out, it ain't nothing like that. Listen, I get it. Fear sells. Fear gets clicks. It gets ratings. It gets ad revenue. That's why my channel don't get no goddamn views. But you know what? Living in fear is like driving with the brakes on. You ain't going no fucking where. Listen, we gotta stop letting fear tactics run our lives, y'all. They got us stocking up on canned beans and tissue and shit. Avoid mosquitoes like they hit men with the pistol. Thinking 5G towers were gonna turn us into fucking X-Men. Sorry for the language, but I'm pissed off. I'm not saying don't be aware. I would never say that, but smarten up. Stay informed. Don't let folks have you out here scared to live your life. The world ain't ending every 12 months. Half the stuff they hype up don't even hit your neighborhood. The next time the media hits you with that weird doom speech, remember this. Remember this video. They've been saying this since dial-up internet. You're still here. You're stronger than ever. So go outside. Smell that fresh air, hug your family, eat that chicken wing, and for God's sakes, stop letting the news keep your ass up all night, because they damn sure not gonna keep me up no more. I'm through with it, and I hope you are too. This is Murph, Big Brother Almighty, checking in with a video. Just wanted to speak my mind. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Am I crazy or am I on to something? Let me know. Till next time, y'all. Peace.